What's going on YouTube? Welcome to part 3 of our Gateee Lost Chapter series, and today we're going to be looking at Agrias' Lost Chapter. This video is going to be a little less introductory, and we're just going to kind of get straight into it. For this one, our main problem is going to be just these two units, the Argent Efficient, and the problem with these ones, they have a chant, they cleanse their own buffs, including the frames, and they give themselves a lot of buffs. This right here, attack, defense, max initial speed, whatever. And the main problem is that they also battery themselves to around 50k, somewhere around there. But this is a damage check. If you cannot get around to lowering their max bravery to 0, most likely they're gonna kill you. There's a couple strategies here to use against these guys, but you're pretty restricted because they also have a ton of absorb. And like in the previous video, if an enemy absorbs, when you apparel them, they only negate the damage. You cannot actually you don't really do any damage per se. Now, Agrias is boosted in this one because they have a huge paralysis weakness. So you can also bring Cloud and Raijin because also they don't resist lightning. So if you have an Impaler or an Enchanter, you can do really well with lightning like Garnet because they also don't resist magic. But for this particular challenge, this is my team setup. So my strat here is to pretty much ignore their defense and go right through it. And my strategy is to use the debuffs from Fran and to steal the buffs from Balthier. So with Fran, this is what she looks like. I made her really fat. I love Fran. So I use Squall's Sphere for the max bravery 2%. Ultimicia's is fantastic with her because she gives defense down -30, which honestly is like an attack buff for her. And it's for 6 turns. And this is also a secondary debuff that she gives on top of her natural debuffs, which is like Viera's Punishment, and she gives magic defense, magic attack drops, etc., etc. So she's also she is a debuffer naturally, but now she's a even better debuffer because she does a lot more damage now, and she can kind of clean out a lot of regular buffs that they have out the way, assuming they're not framed, you know. And just her sphere at the end inflicts max bravery down 30%, which is really big because she already has the max bravery debuff in her kit, so enemies get really neutered with her. And then these are my art. She's like, I think, my only perfected character, 108 330. You want to prioritize Enigmatic Viera if you got it. Definitely one of my favorite characters. This is Balthier, just recently maxed him out. Arts, I think it's 108 and max bravery. No sphere for him. He's good, but he's kind of gimmicky with his kit. And Saz is an amazing character. They all work really well together because Saz just wants attack, right? You want this one, buff 108s, buff 108s. But he gives the necessary buffs that Fran kind of lacks, and gives attack and crit, which is huge when you pair it up with Fran's max defense drop and range imperil. That's really, really good because we're all range units, so we all benefit from it, and we don't collide with each other. You know, Saz gives all the buffs, Fran gives all the debuffs, Balthier just loves everything that's happening between the two. So for this challenge also per usual, no assist, we're trying not to. And for this challenge in particular, I brought Alexander. They're weak to water for Leviathan, but we have no source of heal. That's our one fault in this team, so Alexander will carry us there. Alright, so with this one, it's pretty straightforward for the beginning 4 waves. For newer players, this could also be a problem. Not the beginning, per se, but the final boss or final wave. Because if you don't have a strategy to counteract them, you kind of hit a pretty big wall with their defense. And for this one, we're just being stingy. You can see that the enemy is already kept at 6600 bravery. Fran's max bravery debuff is just fantastic. Now we are being a little stingy here. I do want to use a little bit more abilities on Saz so that he gets his cold-blooded up quicker. And for Balthier, it's kind of important to always have, well, you have the Sky Pirate 3 up. It's based on, you can get it up 2 ways. You can get it, you can skip 1 to 3 if you attack 2 units using a AoE attack, or just attack 1 unit twice. But you always want it at 3, because then he gets the max number of bravery hits before his HP attacks. So these guys are pretty simple. They just do grouped Arca, and an HP attack that follows. Not Dark Up, but afterwards. So just keep your bravery up here. We have plenty of turns, so I'm not afraid. We're just going to keep using abilities here because we want to charge up the EXs. And here I do not want to use the kick. The whip kick is really important. We're going to save it for the final wave. This week is an HP attack. It's also, Fran's HP attack is also amazing because her turn rate is so high on it. She is a near insta turn rate on that one. Oh, but look at that, 4950 because of Fran's debuffs. Vieira's punishment, lowers defense, attack max brave. This and this is huge. And range resistance, which is also huge for us, for the whole team. Max bravery down, and defense. See, double stacks of these two. Fantastic. I love this Fran. Alright, so here, standard SAS stuff. The speed debuff is also very huge. And the other thing that also pairs well with SAS is that he can go multiple times, so it saves Fran from having to use abilities a lot. At least the whip kick. You want to say whip kick. Alright. We did use one there, just so that we can move on, because we also want to mind our buffs. We can always refresh them, but... so here, we're just going to snatch out again. I know he has the EX up, but we're going to save everything for the next wave that's coming up. We're going to need it. I'm going to aim here. Now he has his EX up, and then Shadowheart's going to be up by the time we go there. I'm going to Feral Strike to reset her Aerial Archer buff. Alright, here we go. Now, I found that fighting these guys together, if you're not strong enough, is almost impossible. They tank too much and you need too many turns, assuming you don't have someone with BT or LD. So what I would recommend is if you're having a hard time, like you don't have a strat to get around their defense, try to do as much damage and eliminate one of them. Fighting one of them 1v3 is way easier than 2v3. Just because you have a lot less to deal with and you can focus them down a lot easier. Alright, so if we attack boost, the SAS instantly comes up. So we're going to attack boost to refresh the buffs. And now we're going to Cold Blood. I'm going to save my summon for after they levitate at least once, because there's no HP threat as of right now for them. So I'm not too afraid, and I don't want to get... I don't want to use it too early. Usually you want to save the summons. I like to save it for towards the end, like when I know I can kill. Or I use it as like a safety, like a get out of jail for free card. You know, like let's say these two are gonna attack, they have like 50k bravery, and the summon can get me out of that situation a lot of the times. So here we're gonna go for Shadowheart, and you always do Shadowheart plus. It does a lot more damage, a lot more overflow. She's gonna cap. Look at that damage, grossness. She usually doesn't do, and this is chaos. She usually doesn't do this herself. She can if she has the defense drops, but this paired with Saz's buffs is just fantastic. This is why this team is starting to become my new favorite team for the ranged heroes. Okay, so here Saz has two debuffs: initial bravery, which is not that important, and attack. Attack is kind of big, but Saz can always cleanse this. And B's gonna go for the levitate here. A's gonna go for an AoE attack. So what we're going to do is we're going to great aim because we can do Fires of War. And for this particular fight, great aim is actually really important because it cleanses all the buffs. So like you see here, these buffs can all give you a really bad headache. Speed, initial, max attack, defense, all the good ones. And they're actually really tanky right now. You're going to see, because I'm going to use Whip Kick to... I can't cleanse all of these. Well, I'm going to cleanse a lot of them. So look, I'm down to 2k damage. So this is where people start... This is where people can have a hard time with the boss. And now, this is also kind of a problem for Fran, because she needs it at 5 stacks to get all the things to work out perfectly. But we're actually going to use our summon soon. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to refresh the buffs. We really didn't have to, but... we also get that extra turn. Cold Blood's up, so I'm going to soften these guys up a bit. And so A is going to attack Fran next, but we can break him. We're going to do great aim. And remember, the only reason we got to 999 is because of both Saz's buffs and the fact that Vieira's stacks is stacking harder and harder every time they get hit. So here, we're gonna summon, but I'm gonna use a whip kick recovery. And let's do it. So we're not gonna do max damage on B, I believe, because he still has a lot of defense. We're actually gonna do it on B. So yeah, we're not doing max, but we're still doing tons of damage, 72k. And now the Vieira's punishment is max, so Cold Blood's should do max damage. Not as far as 999s, but as much as Saz can do. Yeah, so good stuff there. All the buffs are gone, so now I can just focus on damage again. So we're gonna do Fires of War, and this is pretty much the rotations. Whenever they buff up, Great Aim cleanses them all, and then Fran can also cleanse them with her Whip Kick. So now we just worry about damage. Shadowheart Plus is easily gonna cap here. Oh, beautiful damage, beautiful. And now we're gonna do aim. And Saz is back up again. And then we're gonna do Snatch Shot here. Just so we can get a lot of damage. They're both gonna go, well, one's gonna go for Fran, one's gonna go for Saz. We're gonna attack boost here. So we can battery Fran so she can take the hit. Maybe, this one actually does a lot of damage. Okay, if you're weak, that usually breaks you. That's a really strong bravery attack. We're gonna do Feral Strike. Look at that nastiness. So beautiful. Alright, he's absolutely... Woo! The dodge. This happens sometimes. It's very RNG. I've done this fight a lot. And I'll tell you that that's very inconsistent. Yeah, so we're going about damage again. Now, A's really close to death here. So we're trying to go for Snatch Shot. This might kill, let's hope. No, okay. So they're going to go for Globulated Crush. This is another HP attack. This is where you also want to keep them at 0 as a primary goal, because they cannot battery themselves that much when they do this. So we're going to focus again, but we know that Whip Kick has a lot of overflow. So I'm at 98. This should kill A, and we're going to max damage on B. Alright, so he did it again. Alright, normally this would be a spot where a lot of people die. Look at that, 1 damage. Gross. But what we're going to do is Great Aim. Always have Great Aim ready, at least for me, this is my strat. Took 3 buffs away from him. We're going to HP attack here. Afflict him with the defense, and I believe it's an attack down? Yeah. And then we're going to Whip Kick again. Because she needs the Vieira's punishment. That's what allows us to do the damage. But now he has 3 more buffs on him, including a framed. We're going to take his buff again. And now he has nothing. So he's going to go for Saz, but we're going to do a quick battery. And then we're going to Cold Blood. Now this isn't going to do max damage because Vieira's punishment isn't max. Still very good damage, and he got speed down. So now he's going to go for Saz. We're going to go for Fires of War. There's also some really nice outplay you can do with Balthier, because his C65 allows him to reduce the enemy's bravery to... I have to double check. I think it's like 1/4 or 1/5 of what it is. And that's huge because seeing how it's 26k, if you can't, even if we did like 1 damage, you can use that to bring it down to... If it's a 1/4, it'd be, I think, somewhere around 4k, 4.5k, somewhere around there, or 5k. And then you would still, he would have to battery himself to kill you. So Balthier is like a really good counter for this one. So here we have no more kicks. We can use a recovery, but it doesn't matter. I know we're gonna kill. Great damage for an EX character. I can't wait till she gets an LB. We're gonna do Great Aim here. And then Saz is gonna go for attack boost just in case, because of the high turn rate, do damage. And then we Feral Strike for the win. But yeah, these enemies can be annoying if you don't have a strat against them, or if you have semi-weaker characters. But so long as you can get through as long as you can keep their bravery to 0 or low enough so that they can't one-shot you, you should be okay. But yeah, that was Agrias' Lost Chapter Chaos Challenge. Tune in for the next one. We're gonna be looking at. Let me actually take a look. I don't remember. I'm sorry. Looks like Locke's challenge. And yeah, thank you so much, guys. Peace.